welcome as we get everybody on. We're excited for our speaker tonight.
So excited.
You guys believe we only have 1 month? This is our last month of this program.
No, I can't believe it.
Incredible. You guys made it. I'm excited. Almost. I see Becca.
Hey, Becca.
Hi, Becca. Just some housekeeping real quick before we get started. Your new accountability buddies will be posted. If you have issues opening it, let us know. I know sometimes if I've emailed it out, it helps. I don't know why. Some can open it, some can't. But we can also help tag in the post. And I will post your homework shortly after we get off the call. Karen, do you want to introduce Becca?
I do. I'm really excited. We have Becca Levie with us tonight. And if you don't know Becca, you really should. She is, she won't like it when I say this, but she is Scentsy royalty. And she has been with Scentsy a long time. She is one of the most inspiring leaders I know. And aside from the fact that I can't say enough good things about her. Her personal story is amazing, but Becca is the person that takes time to text you and message you out of nowhere just when you need it. She's the person that always has something uplifting or positive to say, no matter what her personal life or health looks like. And she really, she's a shining star. She's a superstar director. She really is the epitome of Scentsy spirit, in my opinion. And I'm just grateful for her friendship. So she is going to talk to you, and I'm just going to hand it over to you. It's all you, Becca. You are muted, though. You're totally muted. Can you? Let's see. No, you're not.
All right. I was going to say the other day I gave someone amazing a compliment, and they later texted me back and said, you know, the mirror principle, and that is you can only see in others what is true about you. So all those wonderful things you said about me is so true about you, because we cannot recognize something we don't know in our own hearts. So I love that. I am surrounded by amazing people like you and Kelly and Eileen and Sarah and, oh my gosh, so many of my Scentsy family here. I guess you got to hear from the amazing daughter of mine, Callie, a while back. And so I love that she has gone from just hiding the phone and hating the business to being a leader of inspiration herself. But you know, one of the things that Karen asked me to talk about tonight is belief. And you know, Callie signed up to be a consultant right away and lasted about, I don't even think, a full 3 months, and said, yeah, I don't think this is it. Then fought me on it. But over time, the social proof of being connected with a tribe that is goes to events and shows up to events, whether that's live or virtual, it rubs off on you and you become who you hang out with. You begin to believe what those around you believe. And now look at Callie. She's got some strong, amazing conviction, and now it is her life. And so if I always think if Callie can come from there to here, where can you go from where you're at now to where you want to be? And who do you need to keep hanging out with? And what do you need to keep hearing and reading and listening to so that you can walk away a superstar, director, rock star? And really, I kind of like feel weird talking to you rock stars that have been in this business as long as I have or longer. But, you know, it's always good, like for me going to church, right? It's always good. Nothing ever really changes, but just being in that energy and hearing those things, they matter. And that's why we constantly have to feed ourselves with positivity and belief. When we do most of our trainings, our retreats and things like that, we spend 70% of our training time. So people spend money, come for 2.5 days, and we spend 70% of our time, what do you think, on? If you had to guess, who would guess what we probably spent 70% of our important Scentsy time doing?
I'm going to go with belief, positive affirmations, all that.
Right. Belief in, first of all, the direct sales business model. And I think when we're out there recruiting and doing those things, that's probably the biggest battle that we have to battle with people, is their belief in the business model. So belief covers 3 to 4 specific areas, and that's why we can spend so much time on it. And I'm sure most of you have, but it's a good reminder, a good refresher, especially if you're sponsoring a lot or have lots of people who are in that phase of building their business, to read the book Flip Flop CEO, because it really helps people understand the business model. You know what makes me more upset about anything? That if I wanted to go to corporate America of some sort, or like Walmart, and work as a cashier greeter, it doesn't matter how many hours I put into my business, it doesn't matter how cheerful of a greeter or cashier I am, it doesn't matter how extra shifts I pick up, I'm only gonna make, like, you know, minimum wage per hour, right? But the people at the top, if all of the cashiering I've done is banked up their profits, they walk away at the top of the business with, you know, millions of dollars, and their stockholders with millions of dollars, while I down here doing the sweaty heavy work only get paid so much an hour. So I always think if people want to talk about a pyramid business to stay away from, it definitely needs to be brick and mortar corporate America kind of jobs. So I always suggest people to really think about that, and let people really think about, like, that live example. The second thing, once you get really solid in the business model, is to be really solid in your belief in Scentsy, our company, part of that. And how do you do that? You talk to the people who are making it happen. You don't talk to the people who aren't making it happen, because they're usually making excuses. But if you want to know, again, it's who you hang out with, and you build your belief to stick with those people. So if you get belief in Scentsy, you get belief in business model. Here's the harder ones to do. Now, you can believe a lot of money is possible. I think that's one of the things that really benefited me when I came into Scentsy 12 years ago, was I had been at least in 10 feet of women who were making $50,000 a month in a direct sales business. So I had that belief that women could make that kind of money per month in this business. So that belief for me was working for me, because we can only achieve what we believe. And that's why I'm saying, if you haven't achieved something yet, check your beliefs. Check where your belief is, because you've achieved what you believe is possible for you. The belief in ourselves and the belief what's possible for us in Scentsy business is what's really, really important. Because even if, and you'll watch this, and you leaders who've been around for a long time, you've seen this happen, we can accidentally fall into lots of success, maybe, like a lot of people right now, because of the perfect climate right now. Scentsy, our business model, our product that's a mood changer, and it's beautiful and edifying, all of those things. We're going crazy. So there's some people right now who are going to grow some teams and some paychecks that are pretty significant. But if their belief isn't that they're worth it, or that money is okay to have, all of that, they will sabotage themselves slowly down to a paycheck per month that their belief system isn't comfortable with. Now, please forgive me if you're not Christian, but I am. But I also believe the universe was built by my maker, and, you know, he has set up the universal laws to work for us. And so one of that is what you get, what you believe. You get what you believe. So you need to really work on your vibration of what that is. And if you were to read the good book, the Bible, and just as a proverb, if religion isn't for you, you would read principles of success, such as, he says, I am willing to give you more abundantly than you can even think or imagine to ask. So he's telling us, you guys got to imagine. And even as much as you do the vision boarding and all of that imagining, the universe, my universe, is going to give you way more than even that. And I love Les Brown. Les Brown, you know, if you haven't listened to him, boy, he's a great person to listen to, his story and all of that. But he says, whatever it is that you think is a big goal to achieve, and he believes in the creator too. He said, that mountain that you think is like Karen did that, or Sarah did that, or Kelly did that. I could never do that, right? He said, actually, that is just the tip of what is waiting for you, because once you get to the top of that mountain, if you'll work on these belief principles, then you'll see that that's just the beginning of where he wants you to go. Now, a lot of people say, I'm not in this for the money, I'm just here to help people. But here's the thing, you can only help people as far as you've helped yourself. So again, you can't get to the top of the mountain without getting there yourself. So I'm just saying that we're all equal in the eyes of our Creator. And he says, what I give to one, I give to all. Just ask and believe to receive. And you know, a lot of people forget that receiving is an action, and it's an action word. And again, if you look in a book, that good book, you're going to find how many times it commands to receive. So the universe and everything can't give us what we're not willing to receive. And you know, I have a problem with clenching my fists. And so for the last few years, I keep thinking, even when I'm sleeping, I no, I want to keep my hands open, because I want in all ways to be communicating that I am open. And here's the other thing. If our energy, if our belief system is that of well, I don't want to ask for too much and all of that. Because remember, there's more than enough to go around. But if we've been taught to not receive, then we can't take in what's there, even if it's there to take. So if I felt like I'm beating the same dead horses, because it's the horse that if you bring it to life with positivity will take you on the ride of your life, so that you can help people and you can do good. And it's so important that when you're speaking, that you don't say, oh, I'm not in it for the money, I don't need the money, I don't want the money, I just want the friendship, or I just want to help people. You are saying that you don't want the money, so you're not going to get it. You have to, in all things, be thankful and willing to receive, with your language, with your body language, and with your belief system. So Terry and I spent thousands of dollars reading and buying Les Brown's things, and just, you know, it costs money to go to an event. We're so lucky right now that everything's virtual, but we did that, and we sacrificed in the moment things that other people had, like a new car or a bigger house or whatever, because we just knew that if we would invest in our business, invest in our beliefs, and invest in our business, that we then one day would have more than most people have. And we kind of do have a lot of more than most people do, because of Sensi, because we were willing to make sure that our belief system was where it needed to be to receive all the blessings that are available. Now, I had this thought 2 times, and it was so good, I thought, now I can't remember what it was. But can you think of a question right now? Because sometimes I just need help getting started again.
I had to unmute myself. So I think that's so, I love that. Be willing to receive, you invest. I love the fact that you put off the short-term goals, the short-term satisfaction and gratification, to put yourself, better position yourself so that you could later receive all of that. I think that is so fantastic. You put off the car, you put off that, so that you could invest in the training, you could invest in getting everything right in the world. Will you tell them a little bit about what that looks like now for you? Because you said and I know you're a pretty modest person, but you said we kind of do have a lot right now. And I'm not asking you to drop figures or that kind of thing, but you have been so blessed by this business. So
right, because of the whole universal plan set up,
yes,
right? And nobody had. I can't say that, but it feels that way, right? A bigger, what I call the little itty bitty icky committee, you know what I mean? Because I had been abandoned and homeless at age 8 with 2 sisters, and my mom left us, and we were in foster homes, been physically and emotionally, spiritually, and sexually abused. Like I was so broken. I was so broken. And I remember when I had a job as the manager in a retail women's clothing store. And I was tall and beautiful back in my early days. I'm still tall.
Still are tall and beautiful.
I'm very beautiful.
And I somehow pulled off this job, but I would go home at night, and we lived in this apartment, and my husband at the time was an electrician, and so he'd be gone months at a time doing a job site somewhere. And I would come home, and we had this toilet, little water bathroom closet, and it was big, just barely big enough for a person and a toilet. And I would, with the light off, crawl behind that toilet and sob until I fell asleep. Then I'd pull myself together, make it through another day, and come home. I mean, and I just like, I don't even know how I got through, except for that's how I became to believe in a higher power. And so to see where our life has gone, because I'd also heard the challenge that there's a power higher and greater than our own that would do so much with our life than we can. And I knew that my life hadn't done so well without calling on something greater than myself. And so I did. I just said, hey, I'll turn myself over to you and tell me what is my next best step. And I always ask that every day, what is my next best step? And most of the time, I didn't like what I heard. It was way out of my comfort zone, way out of my belief system, definitely out of my skill, talent, or wheelhouse, like made zero sense. And yet, if I would show up, mostly, and that's where a lot of you know me, I'd always say, you don't have to be perfect to be powerful. I learned that if I showed up in my massive hot mess imperfectness and put myself in the place that the prompting came with my next best step, I went to places I didn't think I deserved to be, and I certainly wasn't qualified for, but somehow it was happening. And that's why I said, I don't need to be perfect to be powerful. I just need to ask, listen, and move. Just ask, listen, and move, and do that scary, hard thing that makes no sense. And one of them was becoming Mrs. Utah. I mean, I am just like, it was ridiculous. And I remember, first of all, I didn't think very highly of that whole system in the first place. And now here I am. And here I was, you know, the girl with the high waters and the thick bottle glasses and the Godzilla eyebrow. And now I'm supposed to be up there. Certainly wasn't graceful. And I remember when it was swimsuit time, I came onto the stage and I was walking, and you're in a swimsuit, and my heel slipped. And so I did this like crotch pose. Like my legs were out, and the judges are right at stage level, and they were looking right you know where. And I was like kind of stuck for a minute, and then I kind of urkled my way back up, and I was so freaking messed up and embarrassment that instead of going off the other way, I turned and ran in and knocked over the contestant that was coming on to do her thing. So totally Mrs. Congeniality. And I did that, it seemed like all through the pageant. And I remember, you know, when you get to the top 10, I hope this is a faith building story, because it was certainly a faith building experience for me. And remember, faith is in anything, faith in negativity, faith in positivity, whatever you're putting your energy in, that's where you're showing faith. If you make it to the top 10, you get that question, you know, you pull out a question in the bowl. Because people say, well, Becca, how did you get to 50, 75, 85, 95, $99,000 a month? Okay, these are the principles and experiences and things that I did that got me to these unbelievable places. Okay, and so I was woken up, like I just woke up at 4:30 in the morning, and this thought came into my mind of a question. And the question is, what woman do you most admire and why? And I thought to myself at 4:30 in the morning, wow, that's a really good question. That would be great if I got that question. And I thought about my answer. So because of all my faux pas, I guess, I would later learn that I was at 6th place. No, I was like, I don't remember, but I wasn't in top 10 at the time. Or no, I was in 6th place for the crown. I was in the top 10, got the question, was in 6th place. See, and that's what I said. If I can make it, guys, if you can listen to me ramble and I can make it, anybody can. So 8 questions were asked. There were only 2 questions left in the bowl, and all those questions were horrible questions. They were all political or just either stupid that made you sound like you're stupid, or they were political, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's not one good question in this bowl. There were 2 questions left. I pulled out my question, and guess what my question was? What woman do you admire most and why? So can you imagine my confidence in that moment? Because I had been prepared, because I put my faith in something greater than my own. And I asked in humility. One of the best success principles is to be humble and coachable. And because I'm asking and I'm listening, these things happen. And then the next thing, it's the real life reality. And that's the question I got. They said, I grabbed that microphone and took it away from the pageant person, the MC guy, stepped to the front of the stage and owned that stage. And that took me to third runner up. So see, I still didn't win the first time around, but he sent me back until I did. But what I'm saying is there was no reason that me, Becca Levie, really deserved any of that except for I was willing. And that's why I said, if you guys would think that you like where you're at, but maybe there's so much more being envisioned for your life, maybe you could say, hey, I've done okay with my life, or I know you've got me this far, whatever your belief system is, and just keep asking that and listening and doing it. And the more scary it is and the more sense it doesn't make, I'm telling you, go for it. Go for it and see what is in store for you.
And I want to just add something else, and you inspired me to do this a while back, is do a gratitude journal. And sometimes you may not have that belief in yourself, but when you fake it until you make it, and you just write these mantras, you write down these things that you want to believe about yourself, but sometimes it's just really hard. Eventually you will start believing them in yourself, because again, like she said, it's, whatever your beliefs are, but God made every single one of us to be unique and to be inspiring in some way. And we have to bring that out in ourselves sometimes. So.
Well, and see, and that's what you saw happen to me that day on the stage when I just owned that moment, right? Because I had confidence because of the preparation beforehand. And that's why I'm saying the more beliefs that we can prepare by showing up to an event like this and doing different things, then it becomes our vibration. It becomes how we really show up. And it's confidently that we share the business model, confidently that we share the opportunity, confidently that we share stories of massive success, which I know all of you or most of you have had. Again, I don't even know why I'm on here talking to you guys. Because then when you go to share the opportunity, you are confident, because people want to, this is about leadership, and most people are followers and they want better. They want better in all areas of their life, and they want to follow. They're not going to follow words. They're going to follow the energy behind the words. So the more confident that you can get in what you're worth, what we all deserve, what is possible, why this is a great business model. Then when you do those things that we spend the 30% of the time training on, doing the borrow bags, doing the sip and sniffs, doing all of those things, you will be there radiating this confidence that they are so thankful, especially in this dark, kind of scary, upturned world right now, that somebody is confident that there is so much to look forward to. That's why we need to sit it so much in our own being, that when we go, and then the other thing to do is to know that everybody, there's a plan for their life. And believe it or not, joke, right? It's not everybody doesn't belong in Sensei. Now we need to be sharing it with everybody, but we need to not be upset and go, oh, I'm not good enough. It's not good enough. They don't want it. Nobody wants it. Whatever rabbit hole we spiral down, because this person said, no, we need to remember that it's just not either part of their success path or the timing's not right, because most people do have to be invited 5 to 8 times before they're ready to receive it. And a lot of that's just psychological, because think about it, if someone called you and said they had something wonderful to share with you right now, you'd probably be like, oh my gosh, I can't handle another thing right now. I got this and that, whatever, and I don't have time. 2 years down the road, you might be trying it and going, oh my gosh, this is the best thing. But if you think about it, within that 2 years, you probably were introduced to it 6 times. So we want to share it, we want to invite, but we want to not be attached and let it disturb our vision, our focus, or our action plan because of that momentary response with each person. And I know that one of the things, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, was when I met A.D. Mitchell that first week after becoming a consultant, and she had a $15,000 check, and I thought that was amazing, and I wanted to do that, and she was so fun and likable. Her confidence was radiating. I wanted to be like her, and I wanted to have what she had. And so I told myself I just needed to find enough people to share the same vision that I had. And so I put on these imaginary horsefly blinders. If you've ever seen them put blinders on a horse to keep the flies off, they're like these blinders that the flies bounce off. So I kind of put on these imaginary blinders. And when someone would say no to me, my heart and stomach would get upset, but then I'd go, no, wait, their vision just doesn't align with mine. So next, I'm just looking for the people who their path and vision aligns with mine. And if it's a no, it's just a no, because their path and vision is different, right? So if you can do that with massive action, that's the other key. This is why Terry and I are so much about massive action when you're going after something. So our goal was to get, to plug in 3 to 5 warmers a day. That's pretty much all we had. Now we could do 3 to 5 demos a day somehow, right? That way, if I got 4 no's, I still had a chance to get on the 5th one that day and yes. And yeses are powerful and they can keep our energy going for a little while. But if you decide to do 5 demos in a week, it's harder every day. If you did 1 on Monday, got a no, and 2. By Friday, you're thinking you don't want to do this. So that's why it's a numbers game, and the more exposure that you give, the quicker, the faster your business grows, and the easier it is on your psyche, because then you get more yeses to fuel that confidence and that energy to keep going. What are some of the struggles that you feel like you're having?
You guys, you can either unmute or you can put them in the chat. Whatever you want. Let's see. The one thing that you shifted my perspective on years ago, years ago, was I looked at it as we sell warmers and wax. And you shifted it wasn't even anything you said to me. I think it was just listening to you speak at something. That you know what, we offer an opportunity, we offer a business, and your mindset is, I think, so different on that than the average consultants, and it's served you so well. I love it.
I listened to a woman at the mastermind conference that we've gone to, and it was really eye-opening to me, because I came in and skyrocketed, right? Boom. Of course, I did massive action, and I also had been doing all this training to get a positive mindset. And so I didn't realize, but she said, and I think that I try to remind our people this sometimes too, especially new ones or those who have been around a while. But she said that if someone has the right mindset and the right belief system, you'll watch that healthy mindset, that healthy belief system come into a company and skyrocket. And you think they're magical people, but they have a good, healthy mindset and belief.
Yeah. And
she said, most people who join or become consultants, they've never been in business. They've probably come from mostly negative households listening to negative news. So they're at ground zero when it comes to everything that they would need to skyrocket in a business. So if those people will come and partake of the virtual events, the real events, the team meetings, the trainings, the books we recommend, all of that, it might take them 5 to 15 years before they build that healthy belief system to skyrocket. And then at that moment, when everything's in alignment, I always call it when the prayers of your heart match the prayers of your mouth. When your heart aligns up with your words. That's when the magic happens. And so when they have that moment, when all of that's in alignment, then they can all of a sudden go from like back row to front and center, #1 in everything, because they finally got that vibration and that belief that they need. And I think it was Dale Carnegie. He said, believe that you will succeed, believe it long enough so that you will then do what is necessary to bring about success. Because if people won't keep doing things that are hard, if they don't believe that it's worth it in the end, if they don't believe that this is the path to success. And again, if you don't believe it, you won't do it long enough. And so that's why that is my soapbox.
I think the questions that we're getting primarily are, and you're so good at excuse busting, finding people to join my team, people talking about people not understanding the business model, but I think you addressed that one really well. Recruiting, sponsoring, how to approach people in an organic way, especially if they haven't been in touch with them. It's a lot of sponsoring.
Okay. Well, again, so when you believe it's possible and you believe that your goal is achievable, you get excited. And when you get excited, you have confidence, and then it's easier to do the things that you're worried about doing. Okay? Because you have to have those conversations. So, you know, none of our friends and family did Scentsy. I did have a sister do it for a few weeks. But everybody was pretty much a cold call for me. And we had a other business where I did like 40 some trade shows a year. So I was already on the road. So I was to get my 3 to 5 in a day, I was plugging it in for the morning and the night shift at the hotel. I was talking about it when we took it to the restaurant table where I was grabbing a quick lunch at the little tables at the event or whatever, right? I had to make the most of every encounter. But I also would have had neighbors or somebody at these different booths. So I had a random pile of cards. And I just reached out to them and said, hey, I don't know if you remember, but you were at a show and I was at a show. And you probably don't like candles, right? And I think that's a really important way. You don't like fragrance, right? You probably don't like fragrance. And they'll go, people love to do the opposite. And in fact, they will, if they like fragrance, they'll be like, what are you kidding? What are you doing? I love it. You know what I mean? And that's what you don't want them to be on the offense or defense, right? You want them to be like, no, I do love them. Why? What are you talking about, right? Do you see how the difference with that psychology is? And so they'd say, oh no, I'd love it. And I go, well, okay, I would love to send you something to tell me what you think about it. So what do you like? Fruity flower, you know, spicy, bakery, like I'd get their couple top favorites and I'd send them a cube of each one of those and a warmer. And then I'd say, what kind of house style do you have? And I sent a warmer and 3 full cubes. And people go be like, what? I can't afford to do that. Well, I couldn't afford to do it either without making sacrifices, right? And we get free stuff and we get half price stuff. But I knew, see, my belief was if I did the things highly successful people do, I could become highly successful. So again, I had to have that belief. And let me tell you, when I was putting out all this money and giving all this free time and products, my husband and family were saying, things are hard enough right now. And I know it's a good business model and we think you're wonderful, but I don't think what you're talking about is possible. So sometimes we're the only one who can believe in our family, have the vision for our family, and they're fighting us. And it's like the little itty bitty icky committee inside now has all of it coming in from the outside. And so that's why we have to constantly do our daily belief so that we'll do the things so that we can prove everybody wrong in the end. And now they're all happy and like spending money, right? But so I hope that helps you know, build your confidence in your belief, sacrifice a little bit, get your free and half price stuff, and just ask people what kind of stuff they like. Ask them what they hate doing the most at their house. Is it cleaning? Is it laundry? Send samples. They said, you know what? I used to hate to do that too, but I kind of like it now because every time I do it, it smells so good. Let me send you something that was kind of a game changer for me, right? So you start out with for me, it's always the smell that sells. It's always, no talking will get through an experience of a person, right? Even when I plugged in warmers for offices randomly, I would just go in and I would never go in and say, can I plug this in? And then they'd be like, I don't know, can I? Do I need a manager? What do you want to do? Whatever. And we'd spend all this time getting nowhere because they're afraid of the wrong or right answer. And then if I just came in and said, and I'd be looking, hey, Can I plug this in? Look, there's a plug-in right there. That looks like that'll work. Which one of these cubes do you like? Oh, that one? Great. I'm going to plop this in here, and you just enjoy this today, and then you can use these other cubes over the next couple days, and I'll come back and just see what you think. And before they even know what happened, it was Pavlov's dog. They just followed me and just did what I did, and it was like, okay. So right now we're not doing a lot of that, right? Because of the wet, but the principle is the same, you know? So it's more like, hey, I just want to know, what do you hate doing most? Cleaning, laundry? Is the smell in your house driving you crazy? Because I just want to just make your day happy like this made me happy. I'm going to bring you over a little goodie basket. And it's just going to brighten all that up for you. Make it the gift that it is. Make it the game changer that it is. And here's the thing, if you're stuck at a level in your business, and we just do the basic principles to get us right back up to where, like we did when we first started. And you know what, Jill? Amen to listening to multiple times. Because I can tell you, I'm only as good as what and who I listened to in the last 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like, whatever's coming in is wearing on me and coming out. So I know that I have just worn certain books and tapes and CDs and now podcasts out because, and I would have it going, doing dishes, whatever, because I want the background noise in my life to be what I choose to get me the results I want. And I only have that belief because of power higher and greater than my own that taught me that I was worth it, and so is everybody else. So if you just look at it from a plan greater for that person in their life, then you won't feel bad about being a part of their success.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. This is fantastic. You always inspire me in so many ways.
Back at you, all of you. I miss you so much.
I know. You look like you're not in Hawaii.
No, you know, I thought we would live and die there, and then last fall, I mean, I was like, every day the thought of leaving just wasn't. And then about a year ago, I started to like feel like I could let it go, kind of. I felt a lightening of not having to be there forever. And then really strongly last June-ish, I felt like we should maybe give up our lease on the condo on the beach. And we did. And we came home, and we were home for the seasons. We weren't home, but we were traveling with all the kids and doing the seasons, which we hadn't done for like 5 years, and enjoying that. And then we had this huge plan of just being gone, and then COVID hit, and we were so glad that we weren't on that little island with all that chaos and lockdown and craziness, and that we could be here on our farm where toilet paper wasn't an issue, you know what I mean? And so, and
Funny how that worked out.
Right? Yeah. Listen. And here's the thing, because I'm like a hot mess all the time, and I have way too much going on in my head, I always ask that higher power to lead me, guide me, even if I'm stubborn, even if I act like I'm not listening, even if it takes me 1,000 times to hear the prompting, because I do know who's smarter. I always say I have finite vision, and there's a source with infinite vision. And why would my finite vision want to not tap into the free best help possible that's available to us? So, and here we are. And then Courtney, our daughter, she shouldn't have got married to who she did. It was terrible. She had a terrible 9 years, and every time she talked about having the courage to leave, she just never could follow through with it. And so we would get our hopes up and then doused and whatever, but she finally made it happen. And then she wanted to come back here. And we were so happy about that. And so thanks to Sensi and a really good year, we've been able to take our old manufactured home and just gut it and turn it into like one of those flip or flop kind of shows. And it's beautiful, and she's here, and with her childhood best friend, sweetheart, that we always wished and thought everybody thought would get together. So it's like a Hallmark movie. And if we hadn't been here, we wouldn't have, you know, we would have been locked in an island
Yeah.
and not been able to get, you know, so it's like, yeah, why would you try to do any of this by ourselves?
That's amazing. Just amazing. I love it. I love it. Anyone have any other questions or any closing thoughts? I want to be respectful of your time. I know I said just 20, 30 minutes, Becca, but I appreciate it so much.
So it's always inspiring to me too. So thank you for taking your time.
I was like, I could ask you questions for the next 2 hours, but you probably have things you'd prefer to do. So, anyone else?
I would listen to everything by Les Brown for sure. And I love the Go for the No people. And I think if you open the door to that's what you want and ask to be led, because I'd like, if I'm struggling, it's in a day or something, and I'm getting agitated and irritable, you know, and all not Mary Poppins like, you know, I'll be like, okay, what do I need right now? What's my next best step right now? What can I do this moment to change everything? And just kind of like let go of what's driving me crazy, take a breath, go out and pick a flower, or go get an ice cream with the kids or whatever. Then exactly what I need to hear, the conversation exactly I need to have, the book that I need, whatever, will come to me because I've asked for it and I've keyed open to it. So what you need for your next best step and mindset and belief growth, if you will ask, the help will come.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. I could talk to you for hours. Oh, I could totally talk to her for days. It's like, oh, don't let me corner Becca at breakfast, Steve, because she'll never get to eat her food. Yeah.
I can say the same about you. I don't even know how you handle your journey with such grace.
It's all good. It's all a blessing, right? You just focus on the positive and what you can control. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys. Kelly's going to post your homework. And thank you, Becca. I'm so grateful for your time. And if there are any follow-up questions, I'll pass them on to you. But really just thank you. Thank you so much.
Love you guys.
All right, you guys. We will, recording will be up tomorrow or tonight. Accountability Buddies will be up tonight. And I think that's it. Have a good one.